Hello, and welcome to Undressing the Issue. I'm Julia, your LA based therapist and sexpert. Today, I have a special guest with me, a very, very good friend of mine. Her name is Ronda Hale. You may have seen her podcast called Help Me Ronda. I'll let her talk about herself and what she does. But she's joining me today on here, letting me kind of pick her brain and dive deep into some heavy stuff. Yeah, about sex, relationships, love, and I guess the theme that's been running for January, which is commitment.
Yeah, yikes.
So, yeah, well, welcome, Rhonda.
Thank you so much for having me, Julia. Oh my God. I am really, really honored to be on your show. I love your show. It is it's what I need, and I know lots and lots and lots and lots of people need it. So it's good. And I like your delivery. It's so just straight. You put it out there, which is one of the reasons I love you, baby. Okay, so
A bit about you. What do you do?
Okay.
How did we meet? What do you do?
First of all, okay. My name is Rhonda Hale. No H in the first name, people. Ronda. Rhonda Hale. I am a European couture bridal tailor, and that's a mouthful, but basically it means I am the best kind of tailor you can get because 75% or more of my work is done by hand with needle and thread. And I take what I do very seriously. It's a passion for me. I put a lot of energy and love into everything I tailor. I specialize in wedding gowns, but I do work with a lot of high profile clients and some celebrities and really awesome, amazing people. And I also
And you see them when they're on the verge of a huge commitment.
I do. I have, yeah. Well, it's the mechanic's car never runs, right? So, and I also have a podcast, which is a comedy podcast. It's called Help Me Ronda with Rhonda Hale. Again, Ronda. And it is, I just finally decided to start basically, can I swear on your show?
Yeah.
Fucking telling everybody what I've seen over the past 30
Right.
years, because I've seen so much hilarious shit and like jaw-dropping, oh no she didn't stuff in my job, because it's just me and my bride. And yes, I've had the bridezillas, but I do tend to get amazing people, and everybody, not everybody, but so many people have amazing stories, or some people have stories like, well, you've listened to my podcast. How would you describe it?
Well, I would say it's a pretty good blend of like happy, warm and fuzzy love stories and also some just outlandish stuff of just people, right? Just people doing crazy things, people just trying to be overly controlling or coming up with just off the wall ideas. But
Yeah.
I think it's a good mishmash. And I think also you talk a lot about your abilities.
Oh, I happen to be I'm a tailor, but I just happen to be a psychic medium. So a lot of times, my clients will be with me, and it's just me and them in my tailoring studio, and I am like tailoring their gown, or marking it, and in the corner will be their dead grandmother that will show up and be like, "Hi, can you tell her I'm here? Please tell her I'm here. Tell her I'm here." And I'm like, "Okay. Could you stop yelling at me? I'm working on a dress right
Yeah.
now." And so it's just getting through the process of like, because they won't shut up. And it's getting the bride, like, warm her up gently to tell her, "Hey, by the way, I see dead people and one of them knows you and they're here."
Yeah.
So
Please don't freak out.
don't freak out. She's not here to hurt you.
Yeah.
She's coming in love. And so it's usually messages like, "Oh, that lady at your work that wears black a lot, who's looks like this, she's stealing your projects. So watch your shit." But yeah, they'll be pretty specific sometimes. And
Yeah.
that's interesing too. So I talk about that on my podcast.
You do. And you also talk about your boy toys.
Oh, yikes. Yeah. That's probably why we're here today.
That
right?
probably is. You nailed it.
Oh my god.
So all of her,
My boy toy rotation, I have an algorithm.
oh my God.
I do. It works really well.
I know, I believe you.
I've taken a hiatus. I have taken a hiatus.
I know. A
Okay.
hiatus or a dry spell?
I think I've taken a hiatus.
Okay.
I may have. I don't want to say I'm retired because I am going to be moving to New York and I might revive it. I don't know.
Revive what exactly?
The boy toy lifestyle. I don't know.
Well, I think we're going to need to dive into that. But Rhonda and I met when I was getting married in 2019 to my lovely husband, Ted. And I waited till the last minute to do alterations on my dress. Wait, corrections, to find a dress. And then needed alterations. And I stumbled upon her. And it was one of those moments like out of the Step Brothers movie where we were like, did we just become best friends?
Immediately. Oh, I knew the minute I met you. Well, I know. I think that, God,
What?
you kind of read me.
I did kind of read you.
Okay, so yeah, we were like, I already knew when I met you that you had juju on you. I knew that because when one person with juju can see it in another.
Yeah.
And so when you came in, I was like, oh, I like this girl. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you were just so straight, and I just don't have any fucking time or tolerance for fake anything.
Yeah.
I'm like, you are who you are, and just seriously, I don't have time for shit. And so you were who you were, and we clicked immediately. Two Aries bosses.
Yeah.
And yeah, like after we did your fitting on 2 dresses, people.
Oh yeah, I had 2 dresses. That's right. I refused to bustle, and I made
Yeah.
Rhonda sew me into the dress in a way where I couldn't sit down. I could only stand up.
I approve though.
Only because I had the second dress.
But that kind of excess is my style. Yeah, baby, do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so after I finished tailoring you into your 2 dresses, which were awesome by the way,
Thank you.
and you were super sexy and beautiful, we went into the other room in my office, and you proceeded to give me a reading.
I did. You know, I've never talked about that on my podcast, like
should
my
I have not said
intuition.
that?
No, it's okay. You're not like blowing up my spot.
Okay,
But
sorry. Sorry about that.
I don't know. I call it intuition, whatever you want to call it. For me, it comes very differently than the way it comes for you. And I don't know. I definitely don't think I have the same medium ability as you.
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah, you do. You do.
Okay.
You do.
I do.
I would say I wouldn't say medium abilities. I would say you have the same psychic abilities, because medium would be where you can actually communicate with people who have passed to the other
no, I
dimension.
can't.
But you definitely have the reading ability, because the things that you were saying were things that you did not know that I already knew were happening.
Crazy.
Which was me moving to New York.
Yeah, I did tell you that the first time I
Yeah,
met you.
so I'll be moving. Well, actually, I'm moving to New Jersey, but my business will be in Manhattan.
Yeah.
At the end of May, 2020.
New York, New Jersey,
Whatever.
So, so in any case.
So on with treating me. I told you I would be very happy to be your guinea pig.
Yes.
Because,
So Rhonda's been very brave
oh my God.
to volunteer to dive into her issues. And I just want to give a brief disclaimer. Because we're such close friends, I can't really consider this therapy, but I'm happy to have this discussion with you and bring in my expertise and knowledge without diagnosing you, without, without calling it therapy, I guess. Kind of like what therapists have to deal with when their friends come to them and they need to talk about something, where you're not actually giving them therapy, but you are
I accept
kind
that.
of putting on your therapist hat in a way.
I think you
Yeah.
can definitely analyze this shit and
Yeah.
give me your professional perspective. And I think that you know me well enough that you're going to see the cracks in the vase where I think it's okay and there's no crack. And I want to hear about that.
Okay, I'll show you your crack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Show me my crack.
All
I heard
right.
it's really attractive.
I don't know. I haven't seen mine in a long time.
It looks good.
Thanks.
It's good.
So it's amazing that you've seen it more recently than I have.
Yeah, well, you know.
Okay. So in line with our theme of commitment, as soon as I told you that, you jumped on wanting to talk about this and said, oh my God, I'm a commitment phobe. We should totally do this with me because I'm sure that my issues with commitment are totally relatable. I'm probably pretty fucked up. I'm probably pretty broken. So I was like, well, I mean, what's broken? Because really, what's normal? But you want, well, let's.
I'm not normal.
Nobody's normal. There's no such thing.
Dude, I am beyond far from almost You can't even me in that. I was married for 17 years. I got married young. I divorced at 37. Okay. And I started a boy toy rotation and ran it.
What do you mean by boy toy rotation?
Okay, well, I created this.
Like booty calls?
No, I was in charge of everything. So basically, I decided.
But you could have a booty call and be in charge.
Oh, no, I had an organization, basically.
Uh-huh.
So it was like my prostitution ring, only they were coming to me and I was the only customer, kind of ish.
So wait, you were the madam and the prostitute?
Yes, I was the customer and the organizer, yeah. And
no,
so
you're not the customer.
Well, I was getting it, basically. And I was thinking it'd be a really good book. I should call it Getting It. But here's the thing.
Okay.
So this is when I'm in San Diego, right? And this is where you've got the Navy base there. So basically, there are these
men in uniform,
hot, gorgeous bods, and they're from all over the United States, right? And they're all coming to San Diego. Oh my gosh, there's the ocean, Yeah. And they're just ripped and beautiful. And so I figured out this way to what I would do actually, oh boy, is I would go to a nice bar and I mean, if you're gonna have a boy toy, he should be beautiful, right? Yes?
yeah.
Okay. So I would always pick them to my criteria, which would be 6'2" and above. Rip, beautiful, square jaw, the whole thing. And go talk to them, flirt with them, find out if they're available. If they were available, I would tell them, so,
What's available?
Do you have a girlfriend?
Okay.
Are you in a committed relationship? Is what I would ask them.
Got
actually.
it.
And if they would say no, they were not, then I would ask them if they've ever been cougared. And I said, have you ever been a cub? Have you ever been cougared? And they kind of got flattered, and I could tell, oh, you're from Kansas, right? And so they would say, yes, well, no, I haven't, but it sounds interesting. So I would tell them, okay, would that be something you're interested in finding out about? And they'd say, yeah. And I told them that I have several cubs, and I have an opening for, a few more cubs, and I'd like to see if you would fit my qualifications.
So how is cougaring different from being a sugar mama?
I don't pay for your shit.
Well, there it is. So, all right.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically,
I would qualify them just by talking to them, and then I would find out if they were, if they kissed well. If they kissed well, I would basically make out with them, and if there was chemistry there, then I would give them a job interview.
a job interview.
Yeah.
What are the qualifications we're looking for?
The qualifications were the sexual attraction, the good kissing. If they were a good kisser, and if they turned me on, then the qualifications were, do you have your own place? And if they roommated, like if there was a home and they had their own room and they're paying for their own place, they're not at their folks' place, that qualifies you, because you're not going to fucking be my boyfriend anyway. You're on call. And so
on call for what?
For my needs.
What is that?
I would create a rotation, and I figured out as a single mom, I had enough time in my schedule, because I am, I'm supporting me and my 3 children, right, at the time. And, well, I'm still supporting my children now, but they're grown up. But, I'm doing it out of love now, not obligation.
Right.
And so I knew that I had time in my schedule to have 2 boy toy encounters a week, possibly 3. And I figured after trial and error that the separation between the boy toy appointments needed to be no closer than 4 weeks and no later than 6 weeks because they become too attached to you after if they're closer than 4 weeks.
Oh, no.
And they become
attached.
yeah.
Oh no.
We don't play that.
Well, that's a whopper for me to bite into.
No pickles, right? And so
I love pickles.
no pickles, no pickles. And so then after 6 weeks, you could go 6 to 7 weeks, but not after that. You kind of lose the flavor, the want, the desire, the crave. And so my round robin became
Or the novelty.
Well, I'm really good in bed, so
No,
it
I
wasn't
mean
really a
they
novelty.
lose their novelty.
To me?
Yeah.
Oh no, I only picked beautiful guys. So I would always be very attracted to them physically.
Yeah, but
It's just that
it's no longer like new and exciting.
well, after 8 weeks, they would get wrapped up in their own life and they'd probably get a fucking girlfriend. So if I saw them every 6 weeks, I could kind of keep them on the leash a little bit.
So do all encounters involve sex?
Always, yeah. So I would have an interview with them, and if their interview went well, and a good interview is, we'd go through, 4 to 5 condoms in a night.
4 to 5?
Absolutely. Reload period has to be, I would say 10 minutes, maybe 15. If they can't reload after 15 minutes, they just didn't make it. I have a strong sex drive.
Okay.
It's just what it is.
Okay, so here's my question. Because I'm not judging, I'm curious.
No, I'm not feeling judged at all. I've never actually had someone interview me on this, but I had it right down like clockwork, so.
So many questions. Where do I start? So my first question is, what sticks out for me?
What sticks out for you? Sorry, I had a glass of wine, people.
Which I fed to her.
Yes, you did.
So what sticks out for me immediately in you talking about this is this need for control and
absolutely.
this like need to maintain a safe distance.
Well, it's not even that. You didn't hear the rest of it.
Oh.
My mandatory rules are, and I feel like one strike and you're out. I've always felt one strike and you're out. So the rules were in the beginning, if they pass their interview, which would be, I'd come usually 7 to 15 times, and we've got 4 to 5 condoms there, done. If that was a success, then here are the rules. I call you. You never text me. You never call me. They did not have access to me. If you ever send me a dick pic, I will fucking cut you off and block you immediately. I have children. I'm not having that shit on my phone. I already know what your shit looks like. I don't need to see it on my phone. So no dick pics, no texting, no calling. I will contact you in 4 to 6 weeks. If you're available, great. If you're not available, you're still first on the round robin. It won't go past 8 weeks. There's 7 and 7 weeks probably. It won't go anywhere between 4 to 7 weeks max. But you'll always be first on call. If you get a girlfriend or a committed relationship, you have to tell me, because I'm not going to be fucking somebody in a relationship. It just takes the fun out of it. And that's it. And I only had one person fail that. He called me, or he texted me, and I just told him, sorry, you're out. And I cut him off. I've never had another man break it, ever. But I'm an active participant in that.
Well, yes, you enjoy sex.
I do very much. So they enjoyed it. And I think it made it fun that I was always much older than them. I do look way younger than what I am. I started it when I was like 38 years old. I divorced at 37. I got smart at 38 and started my algorithm, my round robin, whatever. And now I'm 53. I've taken a sabbatical over the past, probably 4 years, I think. I've taken a sabbatical. And I've fallen in love with my remote control. Okay.
That was really scary. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. That just happened.
Yeah, that was some supernatural shit. Yeah, something just fell off of...
No, flew off the shelf.
Flew off the shelf.
Yeah.
Pause. Let me make sure my cat's not dead. Okay, and we're back. Agnes is alive and well. Agnes is my cat. I I guess Rhonda brings some supernatural shit with her wherever she goes.
It's my dad. It's not me.
Okay, welcome, Dad. So we were talking about your boy toy algorithm, the rules.
The rules, which is you break my rules and you are immediately blocked.
Okay.
And I ran my boy toy rotation from the age of 38 to like, I'm 53 now, so like till I was 48, 49.
So 10 years. So what was it that appealed to you about this arrangement? Were you hoping to meet someone? Were you avoiding meeting someone and just trying to get sexual needs met? Like, what was it that appealed about it?
Okay, I did not, after 17 years of being married to a man who I really wasn't in love with and who didn't listen or really know me or make any effort to get to know me and was just not a good match for me. I felt that I really didn't want to be in a relationship any longer with an adult or grown up who would have any say in what I said or did or how or when I did it. I just really didn't want to be controlled in any way, shape, or
Was
form.
he controlling your ex-husband?
Oddly enough, he was not controlling. He, I don't want to be mean, but he was kind of an idiot. So he was kind of oblivious to things, but I just felt very suffocated in that relationship because I knew it really wasn't it wasn't a soulmate or a loving. I didn't fall in love with my husband. I married him because I was in a home where I was being very physically abused. I was getting beat up all the time.
As a child.
As a child, yeah. And so I wanted to have myself, like I just I didn't want to get beat up anymore by my adopted mother. And so I got married and left, and I didn't have my birth
was your way out.
father.
Yeah.
Yes, my birth father had died when I was 16, and I grew up in a very domineering household with the mother, and I didn't have access to money. I didn't have access to anything, and I was like, my way out is marrying somebody else. So I found the first guy who fell in love with me. I'm like, I do, and I'm out.
Now, you're saying he wasn't controlling.
He kind of was a little bit. Like the money he held onto the money. I didn't have access or control of that.
Was he faithful?
He was extremely unfaithful.
Okay, so how is that not controlling?
Well, I don't understand the question.
Okay, so to me, I've talked a lot on this podcast about how I consider cheating and infidelity and lying to be abusive. I consider it to be emotionally abusive.
I do too.
Okay. And when somebody is cheating and lying, and if they want to maintain that behavior and keep it a secret, they're going to take measures to do so that are going to involve manipulation, gaslighting, minimization, blame shifting. Agreed?
Agreed.
Okay.
100%.
So, do you consider those types of behaviors to be controlling?
I guess I never thought of them as controlling. I think of them as deceitful and dishonest rather than controlling. I think of controlling like when there's a relationship where the guy's like, oh, hell no, you're not wearing that. Cover that up. Or were you looking at him? Were you talking to him? You know, that type of relationship.
That's
I think
jealousy,
of that as
right?
controlling. Or like,
Yeah.
you know.
That is controlling.
Yeah.
I think
Because
so.
he wasn't like that with me. Because I wouldn't tolerate that in a relationship.
I could see that. My other thing is, so even if that's manipulative and not controlling, it's also abusive.
Agreed.
It's hurtful.
Agreed.
So
Very hurtful.
I don't think that it's insignificant that you left one abusive environment and stepped right into another one.
I agree with you 1,000%. I can actually start seeing that. Okay, so you found a crack. You found my crack. One of my cracks.
Right, but let's take it a step further, right?
Okay.
So you leave one abusive environment.
Right.
You step into another one. And in this one, like in most abusive relationships, it may start off being good enough, right? Maybe it's not
Right.
perfect, but especially when, you marry young or you're marrying
Yeah,
for.
I was 19 years old
Right.
when I
And
got
you're also
married.
marrying to get out of a situation,
Yeah.
not to get into something you really want to be in. That's important to note. So, in keeping with that, there's there's something to be said for getting comfortable in suffering. Like, even though we can cognitively say, this makes me uncomfortable, this makes me unhappy, I don't like being treated this way, there's something to be said for, but this is what I know.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I have to agree with you there. Because I was so young. I mean, I was 19 years old. I was a child
Yeah.
bride. And I didn't get married because I had to, like, back in the day when you say you had to get married. I
Yeah.
mean, I had my first child when I was 21 years old. So I got married at 19. It wasn't like that was the reason. It was, yeah, I was very naive and just I didn't have the self confidence. Definitely coming out of a home where I was being physically beat all the time
Yeah.
and talked horribly to. I didn't have the self confidence or self love to say I deserve more and this isn't something you should be living as a normal. But I was like, okay, I have a roof over my head. And even though we get red notices once in a while from the gas company, eventually it gets turned on again. I was, I stayed at home and I was a stay at home mom. I was a young mom staying at home. And that's when I began my companies working small boutique businesses and doing tailoring and building my skill that way and earning my little tiny money here on the side as as a stay at home mother rather. But as far as the bank account and the money, I didn't even have access to that.
Yeah.
And I knew that was a control issue. I did know because I think he knew that he was an asshole and I knew, we all knew he was cheating and had girlfriends and was always going out on me. And he knew that if I had access to the checking account, I could wipe it out and just leave him. But I didn't, I never had access to the checking account. If I had to go grocery shopping, he would pull out a few $100s and say, here you go. And I
So
just didn't have the self confidence or self love, or I was so insecure
so even
that I
if he
just lived that way.
wasn't controlling you in that sense that you understand control is, don't talk to so and so, don't look at so and so, you have to wear certain type of clothing. It was controlling in terms of it was keeping you trapped.
Oh, 100%. I was definitely a prisoner. I was definitely a prisoner because I didn't have brothers or sisters. My dad had passed. The only parent I knew and family that I knew was the adopted mother who beat me horribly. And so I had nowhere to go to. I didn't have cousins. I didn't have aunts and uncles. I had no one. And I didn't have access to the money to leave. So if I was going to possibly be able to liberate myself, I would have to squirrel away money and hide it $100 at a time or something and hopefully have somewhere to go. But that wasn't even an option for me. I was very, very alone.
So it kind of, the sense I get is that coming from so much control and abuse in your childhood, and then stepping into control and abuse as an adult in your marriage, it almost seems like this boy toy algorithm of keeping people at a safe
Oh, yeah.
distance and maintaining control is like taking it way to the opposite end of the
Oh,
spectrum and compensating for all of that.
100%. I mean, even now, the holy fuck, the thought of oh my god, the thought of having an adult healthy relationship with a good man who I'm having anxiety right now because it's like
What is it? What's coming
I
up?
feel so vulnerable. It makes me feel really threatened and very, very vulnerable. I have like in my heart and in my stomach, my heart's pounding and my stomach feels like throwing up right now. Just thinking about that. And when I think about the boy toy thing, like I haven't really dated much because I've been working on, building my business and I'm a really good businesswoman and I'm super good at what I do. So my business here in LA has just really, really become very successful and strong and wonderful. And I think, okay, well, I'm going to work on that. And then I'm going to get my ass to the East Coast and then be a normal adult and have sex again because I'm like a virgin now. And so when I go to the East Coast, I was thinking I might start the boy toy thing again because it's really a nice little situation. It's
Well,
works well.
let's go back a minute. So let's go back to the anxiety and the vulnerability.
Ugh.
Ugh. So vulnerability, anxiety, these are all fear-based emotions. What's the fear? What are you afraid is going to happen if you allow somebody into your life?
I have a couple of fears.
Well, fire away.
Okay, here's my fears. And it could be that little thing that you said kind of triggered something in my mind where you said, it seems like you took like an extreme. Okay, so maybe I am a woman of extremes. Well, okay, we know I am a woman of extremes. Okay.
At
I am.
times, yes. Yes. Okay.
I'm extremely amazing. I'm
Yes.
extremely funny. I'm extremely awesome. I know that. Okay. I am extremely a big fat chicken too. So here's my thoughts. If I find what in my mind is this little, like the stature of the perfect man, basically, of the perfect boy, I'm not even gonna say husband material because, okay, but boyfriend material, relationship partner material, is somebody who's reliable, dependable, respectful. Sex is super important to me. If I'm gonna be
Okay.
fucking having it, it's gonna be fucking good.
Okay.
Okay. And funny, financially extremely secure, puts up with my OCD
Meaning what?
crazy shit. Well, I'm OCD.
What does
very
that
OCD.
mean to you? I know what it means to me
I've been
clinically.
clinically diagnosed OCD.
Where do you see it? What is it that they're going to have to put up with? Be specific.
My business is so important to me, and it comes first. And when the phone rings and it's a client, I'm gonna help my client. If I like things a certain way, I like things a certain way. I really do. Even in my life, I don't like certain things touching things. I like my colors organized in my closet. They don't fuck that shit up. It really annoys me.
Okay.
That sort of thing.
So OCD in the DSM is classified as an anxiety disorder.
Eureka!
So it's an anxiety disorder, which is interesting because OCD, people who consider themselves OCD, I should say, think that they basically, well, they don't think. They need to have this sense of control over
Order.
things.
I need order in the
They're
court.
particular.
Yeah.
Or, but what's
I even have order in my chaos. Like I'm comfortable with some chaos as long as there's order to the chaos.
I feel. So what's interesting is what's behind that. So for people to feel like they need to keep things a particular way, or for them to be very picky, or to need to control things, which is a lot of what OCD is a fear-based thing. If I don't have control over something, the fear is it is somehow going to come back to hurt me
Yes.
or cause me suffering.
Absolutely.
Okay. So let's reframe your terminology of OCD
Okay.
and call it your need to control.
Okay. I'm comfortable with that because it's absolutely true.
Okay.
I am a control freak, 100%.
1000%.
Yes, I kind of am.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel you.
But I'm
there
really
too.
good. I control things very nicely.
So you think. So until you don't.
My clients think I'm amazing.
Here's the reality, okay? And this applies to everybody. In this life, on this earth, we have control over pretty much nothing. Like she's like closing her ears and pretending I didn't say that. So basically, we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, even with our psychic abilities.
You're right.
We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how things are going to play out. We don't know how others are going to react because people are unpredictable. So, really, the only thing we have control over is ourselves, how we interpret something, how we react in a situation, how we express ourselves, how we set boundaries, meaning who we allow in and who we keep out. We have control over that ourselves. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Okay.
I have no control over it, so yes.
She's thoroughly uncomfortable. Right where I want her.
Yeah, I'm almost out of vape juice too, so
Oh, God.
that's gonna not gonna be good.
You want mine?
No.
So do you need to pause to?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. I'm powering through this.
All right.
Because
all
I'm
right.
an Aries woman.
Okay.
I'm a Czech Aries woman.
So, in not having control as you did for so long, feeling completely powerless, and also being so hurt
Yes.
in that
Oh,
experience.
horribly hurt.
When you
Oh my God.
didn't have control, you ended up getting hurt repeatedly. So there's this pattern set up. And there's also this messaging that you're receiving.
Which is my value has gone to the floor. Like I lost all value. Like I thought, okay, so I'm not even attractive to you? I mean, you have a wife here at home and you go out with everybody else? Like, come on. What the fuck? Like, and I'm okay looking now, but I used to be super good looking.
You're still beautiful.
Oh, I love you. Whatever. But yeah, I used to be like,
listen, honey, 40 pounds ago, I was a stunner too. So
I'm still not chopped liver, but you know what I mean.
No,
it just
I
makes
feel-
you look at yourself and say,
is there something wrong with
Yeah,
me? Is
yes.
this something that I did? Or
yeah.
right, I hear you.
Not enough.
I hear you. Same thing when I was married to my ex-husband and he was cheating. So here's my question for you though. This quote unquote OCD, which we're now going to call need for control. This need for control. The first thing you said to me when I asked you be specific about how your OCD shows up is my job comes first.
Oh, yeah.
And you are very, very career oriented, business driven. And with work and career, especially for you, with that, a lot of it is with that comes stability, financial
100%.
stability.
I'm not going to argue with
And
that at all.
independence.
It's money. It's money. I am money driven because I was locked down so hard into a situation for 17 fucking years only because I didn't have the money to leave and liberate myself.
Right.
And I promised myself when I left there and had to be on welfare for like 3-4 years just to get on my feet again.
But same thing when you were 19. You didn't have the funds to leave on your own either.
I did not.
So you've associated money with safety.
I have, and it is. And so I say, okay, Rhonda, if you make enough money to provide the life that you want for yourself and you don't need to depend on on a partner to support yourself and bring food and light and warmth to your life, security and a roof over your head, then you're safe. And so I cannot in any way jeopardize that cash flow. I can't jeopardize my financial security.
No, you can't jeopardize your safety.
Yeah, for the company of another human being.
But you've also with the association that you've developed of money equaling safety, you've also developed this association that a commitment or letting somebody fully into your life also is going to jeopardize your safety. You've taken that away from your experiences as well, and you've generalized it.
Well, I also feel like if I get a guy who I know is going to be really awesome and good as far as all those other things on there, that if he's that great, he might be really boring. And I'm afraid that I would get bored. And then,
how do you know if he's that great?
What do you mean? Like if I found a guy who checked all the boxes of reliable, secure,
respectful, loving, stable.
Oh, you're so beautiful. Oh my God, I would never. Oh, you're blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Okay, all of that. I'm afraid I might get bored too.
But what if he's also great in bed?
Well, he'd have to be good in bed, or I wouldn't be with him.
So,
but I'm afraid that even with him being good in bed, I'm afraid that all of this awesomeness I might not know how to act, and I might get bored. I don't know.
It almost kind of feels like you're used to chaos.
Well, kind of have never known anything but chaos. I
Mm-hmm.
must tell you that, honestly. I have never in my life, I have never been in love, ever.
So is it that
In a
you're
romantic way.
right, but is it that you're afraid of being bored, or is it that you're afraid because you don't know what to do when there is no chaos?
Well, right now, I have zero chaos. As far as
Girl.
romantic chaos, I have no romantic chaos
I
in my
know, but
life.
I'm talking about chaos in
Business.
general.
Well, I haven't been blessed enough to have tons of money that I don't have to, that I
I'm
can
not
just chill
talking
and
about money.
relax. And, well, I mean, I have enough money, so that's not a problem. But being, yeah, I'm still a single mom, like juggling two adult kids,
That
trying to
sounds
get
like
them
chaos.
stable. Yeah, it is, you're right.
It's
Ugh. Well, you know
unpredictable.
why? Can I boil that down for you, Dr.
Boil it
Julia?
down.
Because of money. If I had access to more funds for money, I could have financed my children's education sooner and got them independent sooner.
Not necessarily. You're also assuming that everything is going to go copacetic, and we both know that life likes to throw curveballs. Again, that control thing.
Yeah.
No matter how much money you have, you still are going to be dealt some curveballs.
That's true. That's true. That's true. So, are you saying I'm fucked completely then?
No. What I'm saying is you put so much stock in money being the answer when money has been part of what has landed you in unsafe and hurtful
True. Yeah, the
situations.
lack of it.
But there's so much more to it. You've also been in constant states of chaos where there
They're out
is
of my
no,
control.
it's out of your control. There's no stability. There's no reliability. There's no consistency. We don't know
Right.
what we're going to get.
Exactly. Because those are things that I didn't bring on myself. I mean,
Right.
they were just, God just said, hey, deal with,
But when
here's a
you
little
deal
fun
with that
thing.
for long enough, it becomes your default. It's your normal.
Yeah, I kind of expect the other
And
shoe
you,
to drop all the
right,
time.
you
Yeah.
know how to do that. You
Yeah, I
know
do.
how to deal with
I
chaos. You
do.
know how to put out fires. You know how to deal
I
with
do.
crises.
I do. Really well.
But you don't know how to deal with
I
stability.
don't. I've never had it before.
Well, not only have you not had it, but you're also talking yourself out of it by calling it boredom.
I'm afraid. I am afraid of finding a wonderful man who really, really loves me and then me hurting him because I am bored. I would, I think that's horrible.
So let's
I don't want to
reframe
be
this
that
boredom
person.
too into a need for chaos.
Ugh.
There's a need for
Really?
control and there's a need for chaos too. If there's no chaos, we have nothing to control or try to control. And
That would be
also,
nice though to have things chill and nice, like not have anything go bad. That'd be nice.
but if you're accustomed to a certain level of stress and drama and
I
unpredictability,
can still dabble in that with my business because I'm always dealing with fresh blood and new brides coming in, new clients coming in, and
girl,
there's always the deadlines. That can be exciting and adventurous, right?
no. You run a tight ship. You make
do.
sure everything is going to go
I
exactly the way it needs to
know.
go for you, business
I
wise.
know I do.
No, it's not exciting. And
I
if it
know.
was that unpredictable, then again, you would feel unsafe and feel the need to try to manage it even better.
100%.
Uh huh.
You're right.
And I think that if things are being really stable and normal and very just level and calm in your relationship, I think it would scare you because you don't know how to deal with that.
I
And I
don't.
think that it would scare you in a way where you are going to create your own
Well,
chaos.
I feel scared right now just thinking about it.
So, back to this vulnerability and picking the right guy and worrying that you're going to get bored with him. So, this is something that I firmly believe in.
Okay.
I think it's less about picking the right person and it's more about trusting yourself. Meaning, a person is not, no one is ever going to be 100% perfect,
True.
except for me. But
And me. I am pretty perfect, actually.
kidding.
You know that.
I'm kidding. So, So here's the deal. Nobody's 100% perfect.
Right.
Everybody comes with some flaws, some imperfections. But the deal is, the only way that you can navigate that in a healthy way and be able to maintain a healthy balance of independence, which is what makes you feel safe, and also vulnerability enough to be able to have a strong bond and a strong sense of emotional intimacy, is to be able to trust your judgment around when you need to put up a boundary versus when it's okay and safe to let someone in.
So could you say that in a less complicated way?
What I'm saying is, I think it's less about needing to control everything versus just completely
Trusting.
opening up and letting someone all the way in until it feels uncomfortable, which is what you're picturing this
Maybe that
as.
is what I'm doing, huh?
Versus really trusting yourself to know when you need to go which way.
Because you know what? I have very healthy girlfriend relationships with my tribe, my girlfriend tribe. I only have women like you or all my friends. I don't have a million friends. I have a few amazing friends that I've had for many years. And they are supportive, loving, healthy, and always raise me up. You know, they challenge me to be a better person, and I feel I do that for them as well. And I, like me, I am a very good friend. So if I'm friends with you, I will be there when you're not doing well, or if you're sick physically, or you're not feeling well emotionally, or if you're happy, or if I'm there to be your biggest cheerleader, whatever. I'm a good friend.
Yeah.
So I attract good girlfriends. So maybe I actually would attract a good guy. And be nice.
What is
Like I've never
What do
cheated
you think
before.
would get in your way of attracting a good person?
Me sabotaging it, probably.
What about your track records and picking people?
My track records, I was a different person when I was married, because the reason I picked that person was just to get out. So, and I also left a very, my vibration, being psychic and medium, I'm very aware of my vibration. I'm very aware of where I am energetically. And my vibration was so low, I couldn't do anything but attract something at a low vibration. Now my vibration is very high. I maintain a healthy energy level, meditate daily. I am able, what I always know, if I'm able to communicate and interact with my spirit guides and other people's spirit guides and all of that, is only because my vibration is high. So maybe at this point, with me taking the sabbatical for the past, like, what, 4 or 5 years, maybe that's been my eat, pray, love. And I've been able to raise myself up to a place where I am going to attract what I am, which I'm not being, I was joking before, but I really, at this point, I'm being very honest with you.
Yeah.
I would like to meet someone as awesome as me, because I am a good person. I'm a really good person.
I agree with you. And I think you should, and you deserve that. But I want to translate what you just said from energy speak into
Clinical speak.
not even clinical, but I think just something that's more relatable for
Okay.
people who
Digestible. Okay.
don't, who don't really understand
Right,
that stuff.
right.
So I think what you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong, is basically, I feel like I've said it before, but I'll reiterate, is the types of relationships you get into and the types of people that you attract into your life are a reflection of where you are with yourself. So if you have, for whatever reason, whether it's trauma or a long history of being abused or whatever else, you've somehow internalized this idea that you don't have a whole lot of value or worth, that you are not lovable, that you are not deserving of good treatment. And on a deep level, this is your belief about yourself. You're going to allow people to come into your life who treat you in line with that belief about yourself, that they're going to treat you poorly, they're going to mistreat you, they're going to abuse you. Yeah. Versus if you want to attract people who are better, who are more loving, caring, respectful, who are not abusive, who are healthier, in order to do so, it's not about finding better people.
No.
It's about
being a better people.
to yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Loving yourself more, letting go of that belief that you don't deserve, and actually really adapting and fully believing that you are deserving, that you have value, that you have worth.
Well, maybe I'm okay then.
So
Do you think that
I
I've like
think
my
you
my love's
are.
good and I'm just hanging on to this tattered blanket that I've had for a long time and I just need to let it go?
Well, I think that trauma is something, especially the type of trauma that you've been through, and especially the type of trauma that's been inflicted on you by males. I think that as much as you love yourself, you've gone in the opposite direction with that self-love, where you've not let males come close to you. They can come in far enough to meet your sexual needs, but
Right.
not to actually show up for you in an emotional way.
No, I got AAA. I can call roadside.
So I
Is
think
that
at
what you
that
mean?
time,
Like, yeah, I don't like relying on people.
well, I also think that at that point in time, you were still coming out of this trauma, and
Yeah.
it was still this self-worth thing where, you know, I don't really want anyone near me. I don't want
Yeah.
them too close. I don't want them getting attached because I don't want to get hurt again.
Right.
And you've also said yourself, these were not relationship material guys.
No, they were not, and they were. I also made sure that they were a number of years younger than me, so I would never ever. I mean, I know that there are June September relationships. I get that. June December, sorry, but whatever it is. But the thing is that I would never have a committed serious relationship with somebody 20 years younger than me.
Yeah.
And it just, I mean, my God, no. I have children that age. It just doesn't, no, it's not going to happen. And so I already knew that that was a boundary that I wouldn't cross. And before I established that rule in my rotation with the boy toys, I had heard a few very, very, very nice, good young men. And I saw their attachment coming and I was like, okay, that's not okay. I'm seeing them too often. And, establish those little boundaries. And so then that, I think I created a really nice little, system for people not to get hurt. I didn't actually get attached to them though.
People not to get hurt, or you not to get hurt?
I wasn't getting hurt because well, yeah, I guess with the age thing, I wasn't allowing myself to be around someone who was my peer or at my age level.
You were maintaining power.
Because it protected me from getting attached to them. Because I knew, even though they're beautiful and they're amazing people and they're intelligent and sexy in so many ways, wonderful people, I knew that I would not allow myself to become emotionally attached because they were so much younger than me. It never happened. Never. And, I mean, I still, like, if I were to have a grown-up relationship with somebody, I still would want to date somebody who's a little bit younger than me. I would never want to date somebody my own age.
Why?
I'm very high energy, and I have dated a few guys my own age, and they can't kind of keep up with me, really. And plus, I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like I feel more comfortable with somebody maybe 7 to 10 years younger than me for a serious relationship.
Is there anything else besides energy levels?
I think that I'm kind of immature. I am. And I'm like into, if you hear me, I really am. I'm very immature. And like the things that make me laugh are things that are making people who are way younger than me laugh. I get humor that's way younger than me. And so people who are my own age tend to be a little bit, the guys who are my age are a little bit older than me. I mean, I have met guys who are hip and cool and funny and sharp and like, I don't want to say trendy because that doesn't make sense, but you know what I mean? Younger generation funny. Like when I made comments to somebody and said, oh, that's pretty extra. And they're like, extra? What do you mean?
Oh, God.
Extra.
Well,
So that
do you
is just
also think,
boring.
People who grow up with childhoods that are just trauma ridden, it's going to stunt their emotional development.
Is that what happened to me?
I don't know. I just want to throw it out there and see what your thoughts are. If you're constantly in survival mode as a kid, how are you going to be able to actually normally develop?
No, you're right, because I got married when I was 19 years old, and I was in survival mode because I was getting beat the fuck up all the time by this
abused.
crazy woman. And then I got married immediately, and then 2 years later I was raising children. And had a guy cheating on me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you're right. I never did get to, like, I never had my teenage years. I never was able to be a real teenager. I never had my 20s. I didn't go to college. I grew up in a very poor home. And so there was no way I could have afforded college or done that. I just got married and bam.
So do you think that going for a younger guy because he's on your level is also a way to not have to push yourself to level up?
I don't kind of ever want to really grow up that much.
But growing up doesn't have to be bad. It doesn't mean you're not fun.
But I'm out of the loop if I'm boring like some of these other people. Like, if I can't I can't watch YouTube videos and laugh and get certain things. Like, there's so many people who just don't get it and they're not funny. And funny is really important to me.
But what does funny have to do with maturity?
Well, if you don't get my jokes.
Okay, so you want somebody who has a sense of humor that's in line with yours.
That's sharp and current.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's important. And so, no, I mean, if they're my age or older and they get it, then fine, yes. And they can keep up with me in bed, yes. I will date a man who is my age or a little bit older, as long as they are current with their humor and they can keep up with me in bed and they're checking the boxes.
Well, I think it would also pressure you to level up.
In what way? I'm pretty level.
Well, what I'm saying is in terms of that emotional maturity. Well, just because you feel like you haven't had the opportunity to develop the way that maybe you could have, maybe, had you not been in such a traumatic environment growing up, is it better to pair up with somebody who allows you to stay at the stunted level you're at, or be with somebody who challenges you to grow in that department?
Well, like, what department do you think that I could improve on that level? Because I think I'm pretty awesome.
I mean, you are. Serious. I'm not arguing with that.
Like, I'm very level-headed. I'm extremely logical.
You are.
I'm super good with money. I'm a very good businesswoman. I'm pretty amazing. I don't know. How could I be better? I don't even know how I could be better.
How about being vulnerable?
Oh my God, that doesn't make you mature, does it? Does that make you mature? Does that make you mature?
I don't know if that makes you mature, but I think that having that trust in yourself and that wisdom, and the confidence in your wisdom and your ability to differentiate between who should be allowed in and how much of your discomfort is your own shit.
Oh, 100%. My discomfort 100% is my shit.
And to not put it on them and to communicate that it's your own discomfort and it's your own. To me, that is a level of maturity.
Okay, I have no problem saying it's all me, baby. I got no problems with that. I am the first one to say, listen, you're amazing. It 100% is me. And I'm being honest with that. I like admitting when I'm wrong because I think it's being very real. So if there were this mystery man out there that could be created, for me, he would have to be a very patient person who would be willing to let me really, really take my pace, which is be slow and like don't rush me or make me feel like don't rush things to lock me down really fast. I mean, let's take this slow, man. Because that way, I think I have been rushed a lot. During this period of time between my divorce and now being 53, I have actually dated grown-up men before.
Yeah.
Okay. And immediately what they want to do is they're like, oh my God, you're amazing. And they want to lock me down and they want to like be my boyfriend immediately. And they want to just lock me down. And I feel suffocated.
They want to be exclusive.
They want to be exclusive immediately. And I may not be sleeping with anybody else anyway.
So
but
what's
don't
the fear?
tell me, like, I don't know you well enough to say that I only want to be with you. Like, you could
But
be
is
a
it,
fucking
when
serial
somebody
killer.
says, I want to be exclusive, is it that they're asking
They're trying
you...
to pull me off the market. They feel threatened, and it's like, dude, just get to know me. And when you get to know me and win me over to you, I will voluntarily come to you.
What is your...
Don't lasso me.
What's your fear about leaving the market to explore where something goes with one person?
I don't have a problem with that as long as they do not rush it. As long as they pace themselves and be patient. And you know what happens, Julia? And I know this is going to sound like I'm being cheeky, but the fact is, I am really, really good in bed, okay? No, I'm not. You think
I
I'm
know.
joking.
I don't.
You
I
think I'm
believe
joking.
you.
And here's what happens. They have a couple tosses in there with me, and they're like, holy fuck. And they want to be the only person getting that.
Have you ever considered dating and getting to know someone before having sex with them?
I tried that.
Uh-huh.
I did. I dated this guy in San Diego for 5 months, and there was no intercourse.
Okay.
There was first base, second base, and lots of really nice dinners.
First base, second base?
Yeah.
Get with the times. I thought you were with the... What the fuck is that mean?
I just don't want to be nasty
What's
on your
first
show.
base?
Okay, well, there was like, a lot of making out and stuff, and I wouldn't go to his house because I knew if I went to his house, I'm a horny bitch, so I'm going to end up in bed.
Yeah.
And so we did a lot of the backseat makeout shit.
Yeah.
And a lot of handsy shit going on.
Okay.
And that was all fine, but I would always be like, okay, that's enough. And be that girl. And so that I could take it slow, right? Mm-hmm. And he fit that profile of being very financially secure, having an extremely secure financial life, very good job, executive type of person, good dresser, well-spoken, well-traveled, very classy guy.
How did he treat you?
Very, very classy. Really, 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 really nice. Mm-hmm. Had interest in getting to know me as a person.
Right.
He did not rush me at all, which I liked that a lot. Mm-hmm. Finally, when I fucking said okay, and I went to his house, the sex was horrible. So it was like 5 months wasted. That's how I felt. Yeah.
Why was the sex horrible?
It was robotic and boring, and he had no gusto. So it was 5 months wasted, literally. That was a bunch of nice dinners. Big deal.
Do you think that he could have been like nervous? There's a lot of
I guess could have been
build up and anticipation. And I gotta be honest, like the first time you have sex with a new person, in my experience, historically speaking, the first time I've had sex with anybody, it's been pretty bad.
Oh my God, no, not for me.
For me, yeah, because people don't know each other's bodies. There's pressure. It's the first time. There's performance anxiety.
No, because when I usually end up having sex with somebody, it's somebody who I just think they're attractive, they're hot. I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm not looking for them to like fulfill me emotionally. I'm in there to get satisfied, and boom. And I make sure that there is a pheromone, compatibility and attraction there. And it's usually boom. It's awesome. And so, that other situation,
but it
5
also
months
makes me.
But I think you're right. There was probably, I probably.
Well, there's also not that emotional connection that was developed in those 5 months. Where now, because I gotten to know you better, mm-hmm. and I've established feelings first. Now there is that pressure of. I
wouldn't say that I established feelings with him. I would say I established respect for him. He was a very awesome person. And he was physically very attractive to me.
Yeah.
But he didn't be like, I wasn't like falling in love with him or anything.
It's easier for you to have sex
with somebody I don't know? So just...
Yes!
Yes, it is. That's sounds so horrible. But I am not going to lie to you either. I have had boyfriends where, well, actually, the 3 boyfriends I've had in my life, I've only had 3.5. That I'll explain.
Okay.
That between my divorce and presently, with grown-ups, by the way, 8 years younger than me up to 5 years older than me. Well, one was 15. The half one was 15 years older than me. But usually, pretty close to my age. Those started off as really hot first dates. That the sex was mind-blowing and it was like, boom, 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 oh my God. Yeah, that kind of.
But it
awesome
started
date.
off with sex without knowing each other.
Right. Yes. But like, oh God, you're fucking hot. And then after the awesome sex and the great date, then they're like, yeah, I want to see you again. And so ended up dating. And then I found out they were actually somebody I liked and got to know them as a person. And then I've never had extremely long relationships, but I had one for, the first one was 4 months. And then I was like, yeah, I knew in the relationship there were some character flaws. Like I could tell he was like not a good person. He had some moral issues with stealing. I could tell he was stealing. Financial, like he got shady. He worked as like a broker or something, and I knew he was doing shady shit. So I broke up with him because that's not sexy. And then the next guy that I met was I dated him for like I think I knew after 6 months he wasn't the type of person I wanted to date because he just wasn't driven in his career at all. And he could have been more. He just didn't want to make himself more. And that's not attractive to me. So I broke up with him. And then the next guy that I met, I was with him for like a year and a half. And with all 3 of these guys who were my age, the sex was fucking mind-blowing. Like mind-blowing. Like we would have sex from 10 o'clock at night till 7 a.m. sometimes. And just, it wouldn't stop. Really, really, really good sex.
I mean,
and that's like every like if I'm in a relationship, I have sex every day, definitely. But usually minimum of 2 times a day. Morning, absolutely. Night, absolutely. And then maybe, at night once minimum, but usually more than that. So it's really important to me. But yes, I've started off as having, sex with strangers, you're right. Somebody I don't know.
Amazing.
I mean, somebody was hot, but yeah, it ended up being like, oh wow, that was a lucky strike. He's a really cool person. I like him, and get to know them. But the other person I tried to get to know after 5 months ended up being a dud, I thought. So I didn't date him anymore. And he never called me or anything because I think he was really embarrassed. And I was like, dude, yeah, that was embarrassing. Plus, his penis was small. And I have really good penis karma. I have really good penis karma. No, I do. I have parking karma and I have penis karma. And it's a real thing. I do have good penis karma. And I had a feeling this whole time I was dating him, and I kept telling my other friend Lori, who's like you. She's like you. Uh-huh. And she's like, Rhonda, you have to base a relationship on getting to know a person. Nah, nah, nah. And so I tried all this, right? And then I told her, I said, well, what if he has a small penis? What if his penis isn't nice? What if it's like average, which is not acceptable to me? She goes, Rhonda, you can have a very fulfilling sex life and relationship with someone who has an average sized penis.
I agree.
And I said, yeah, no. And so I waited all this time, and then he had a 6-inch penis, which to me is not going to work. And so then the sex was
what do you
good.
have, an 18-inch vagina?
No, I do not. But I like them to hit bottom.
Oh my God.
You know? I mean, he was never going to hit bottom.
So what?
So, yeah, no. So I didn't see him anymore. And I didn't call him or anything because I was embarrassed for him.
See, I have a very different standard, okay?
You should see some of the penises I've been with.
I'm sure.
You would change your standard.
Listen, when I was single, I sowed my oats, and yes, I also...
Okay. Yeah, you definitely, I mean, obviously.
Right.
You've had good sex, too.
I have.
You currently have great sex, I'm sure.
I do.
Obviously.
Ted's fantastic.
Yeah.
And here's the deal, though. Like, to me, I don't really, I've been in that boat where I don't know someone and I'm just attracted to them and I don't really care to get to know them. I
Right.
just want to have this sexual
Right.
relationship with them, and that's fine. But I think it's less about what they're bringing to the table and about the mindset. If that makes sense. No, clearly it doesn't by your face.
don't get it.
Okay. What I'm saying is, if it's the sort of thing where it's like both people are super into it
Yeah.
and both people find each other really attractive and there's that like palpable chemistry and energy, to me, once I'm there and that energy is there and we both feel it,
Yes.
like the body parts just kind of become less important. It's like that mindset when you have that like just raw.
Okay, so you had me until you said that. Here's the thing with me. That whole thing you just described there, when it becomes palpable and amazing and your bodies are so triggered, I've always, like I said, I have really good penis karma. So
No, I
whenever
get
that
it.
happens, the performance part of it and what they're bringing is always amazing.
So here's
Just
my
because
question.
I've been very fortunate.
Sorry, still getting over my cold.
No, it's fine.
So, do you have to have an orgasm every time you have sex?
I can't not have an orgasm when I have sex. Physically, I cannot.
Okay. Well, I wish I had that problem, but I don't. And for me, it's not about that.
Well, because that is how my body is made, I don't know anything else.
But is it also, has it become a standard?
Well, I don't know anything else. I've never had sex and not had. Well, that's a lie. When I was married, oh my God, I just figured something out. While I was married, no, I had 3 orgasms in my entire marriage. That is literally 100% the truth. After I
Are
got
those your
divorced,
3 kids?
oh my God, I wonder if it was. It might have been. It might be. Holy shit. Yeah, I literally had 3 orgasms because I didn't know what happened. I was like, what the fuck is happening? This is awesome. I like it. Well, I hope it doesn't stop. And then it didn't happen anymore. So, after I got divorced though, after I got divorced, I have never in my life had sex and not had an orgasm in my life after I got divorced. Ever. Ever, ever, ever.
So is the goal of sex for you to have an orgasm?
I just can't imagine not having an orgasm. I just,
But is that the goal?
I don't have a goal. It just happens. I don't even, it's not something that's even on my mind. I just know it's going to happen. So that's not even.
Okay, let me ask the question differently.
Okay.
What is your reason for having sex? Why do you have sex?
Physical pleasure, man. I like the physical pleasure. I want.
Orgasm.
Okay, there we go. All right then.
You have sex to have an orgasm.
I many orgasms.
Okay.
Yes.
So here's the deal. In the episode that is coming out shortly, Good Sex versus Bad Sex.
Oh wow.
We talk about what are different reasons that people have sex.
Okay.
And yes, pleasure, orgasm is one of them, but there's countless other reasons.
Okay, that would be my only reason to have sex then. Physical pleasure.
But it's also kind of isolating.
The emotional part?
Well, it's kind of doing away with it.
Yeah, I don't need it when I'm having sex.
But if you're in a long-term committed relationship,
I have been. I mean, long term, like
can you
the year
do
and a half
both?
one.
Or can you switch off and
I
at
can
times have
feel-
sex for the sake of bonding and
Okay,
intimacy
yes.
and not for orgasm?
Well, I will still have an orgasm though. But when I'm having sex with someone who I care about deeply, like I said, I still have not been in love yet. I believe I will be in love someday. I do believe I will. But I haven't
So
yet.
you've never had sex with someone you care about deeply.
Care about deeply, yes, but not been in love with. Yes. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So, like, say, for example, my last boyfriend, I cared about him very, very, very deeply. And we would have sex, and my average is like 7 to 10 orgasms for, making love, whatever. I don't like making love, but having sex, And in that time, there could easily be times where he would hold my face and say how beautiful I was or how much he loved me, and I would um, I would feel very loved and very happy to be receiving that type of love from somebody, and appreciate him as a wonderful partner. So I would have that type of exchange.
Yeah.
But that's probably the most I've ever had. Why? Is there something else that's supposed to happen? Is there?
Yeah, sometimes a unicorn comes into the
Oh
room.
my God, I want that to happen.
Right? And then it farts glitter.
Oh my God.
No, what do you mean?
No, I mean, is there some kind of other emotional thing that happens that I'm missing?
Well, no, it's not about missing. It's just, I mean, historically speaking, you've had a lot of basically sex as sport. Like it's for orgasm versus sex as emotional vulnerability and connection and intimacy.
Why?
Oh my God.
Like, why would you want to do that? What's the reason for it?
Emotional intimacy.
But can't you be emotionally intimate? Like, I feel like
There's all different ways of being emotionally intimate. Emotional intimacy and closeness and sex don't have to be mutually exclusive. It's not one or the other.
well,
You
like,
can have
am I
both.
supposed to be crying or something?
I would hope, like, what, in the
Like,
fetal
what's gonna
position
happen,
in the
like-
corner
No,
after?
I mean like on Sex in the City when there was the episode and she's like, "Oh my God," I like started crying. Like, what is wrong with me? Remember that episode?
Yeah.
I think it was Charlotte, and she's like, "I started crying."
I've cried during sex over, like, something emotional. Some sort of, I don't know, just emotional connection or something. Not because, like, I'm scared, but, you know, I mean...
I would be embarrassed. I hope I never do that.
What, never let someone see you cry during sex?
Yes.
Why?
Well, I don't want to make them feel bad.
Well, I'm not crying because it's terrible.
Well, no, I mean, it just makes, like, wouldn't that be a wet blanket on the sex?
It depends on what you're crying over.
Oh, what were you crying over?
Just a sense of really
tears of
intense
joy?
closeness.
Oh, okay, so like beautiful love. Well, when I fall in love someday, that probably will happen to me.
But that means that you have to open yourself up to having sex for emotional closeness and not just orgasm.
Okay, well, when I find this guy who I actually fall in love with, I will do that.
When you get to the point where you feel comfortable enough being that vulnerable with someone, you will do that. It's not about the guy, it's about you.
Oh, that's right. It is about me. I forgot about that. Okay, you're right. Yeah, you're right. And who knows, with this Eat, Pray, Love thing I've been doing for 5 years, I probably will attract a guy where I can feel comfortable doing that with.
But maybe it's something you could pay attention to in the meantime, is how it comes up for you and how it's so uncomfortable, this vulnerability stuff. Uh-oh, you went bug-eyed. What's going on?
Like,
What did I say?
Mean? Like, how would I? What do you mean right now? You mean like the triggers I feel when you talk about it? How can I make that stop? My God.
It's not about making it stop. It's just kind of paying attention to it.
Oh my God.
Acknowledging it. It's real. And as long as we're constantly trying to like run away from it and not have to feel it, we're giving it a lot of power.
I guess you're right. Maybe I am staying so far away from it and I'm stunted in my boy toy rotation mentality rather than being caught up, like catching up to myself to where I am now energetically. I'm in a much more happy place than I ever have
that
been.
you've worked so hard to make yourself feel safe, to get yourself out of these painful, abusive situations, that I think to be safe and vulnerable, to kind of allow yourself to open up and go against that strict, firm, fortified safety that you've built is something that's still scary to you, that you still don't really know how to navigate that.
I think that's very accurate.
And that's where your work lies if you're going to be in a healthy relationship.
Well, how do you work on that?
Very carefully.
I think you need more wine for that.
I'll give you more wine. So I think that's the work of therapy. I mean, this is the stuff that I talk about with my clients all the time is learning to trust yourself, learning to recognize when it's coming up, giving it space to show up, and reassuring yourself that, you know what, it's okay. And even though it feels uncomfortable and it's vulnerable and I'm not used to it, doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not safe.
You're right. I'm not there yet, but I get it.
Okay, that's all I can do.
Yeah.
I planted the seed.
Yeah, you actually, this has been very eye-opening because I never, yeah, I there's so many things that I didn't ever see before. Yeah, definitely.
Well, I appreciate you being brave enough to let me climb in there.
I'm happy that you did. I'm happy to do it because I'm at a precipice of change in my life. I mean, I'm getting ready to make a coast-to-coast move.
At
And I'm
every single
having,
moment, whether we have a big move coming up or
right, you're
not,
right, you're right.
we're all on the precipice of change
You're
at
right.
every single moment.
You are.
Nothing
You're right.
stays the same.
This is absolutely true.
We're all ever evolving.
Exactly. But I'm looking this as like a new chapter to where I can say, okay, New York, New Jersey, here I am, and I'm gonna move forward, and I'm gonna
You could go
be
to
more
New York.
healthy.
You could go to fucking China.
You're right.
If you
And
don't
I
do
can
this
stay
work,
here. You're right.
you're
right.
gonna take it with you no matter where
Yeah,
you go.
you're completely right.
I know, I'm always right.
Yeah, of course you are. Of course you are. Yeah, I think it was important for me to I am never afraid about talking about things about myself. On my own podcast, I'm really open about my own thoughts and my own shit, you know? And yeah, I don't have a problem being public about having great dick karma.
I mean, you know, I like my steamy 6 minutes once a week.
Now.
No, I'm A-okay with it. That suffices for me. I'm good.
I mean, I've gotten so like
I'm good with 6 inches. I'm good with 6 minutes. We're solid.
oh dude.
I'm A-okay.
Yeah, I don't know about
But
that.
here's the
But-
thing. Whatever floats your boat.
Right, exactly.
Like,
I think that honestly, this has been very healthy for. I mean, obviously, I knew it was gonna be healthy for me. That's why I said dig in and like analyze me, because I really have taken this time for myself. And I said, Rhonda, we're gonna take a break and we're gonna work on you and not be distracted by pretty little things. You know, we're gonna focus on you.
yeah.
And with this work that I've done, I feel like I'm ready to graduate to a next level of happiness in my life.
Well, I think that's going to be...
And I deserve love.
You do. And
Yeah.
here's the deal. So you've already put so much work in and you've mastered creating safety for yourself through your financial stability and how you run your business.
Yeah.
You don't need to keep working on something you've already mastered. You need to work on the things that still need work, that you're not good at. And so, yes, you're hyper focused and you feel like that needs more work, but you know, you've pretty much got this down pat. And, you know, one day I wish for you to walk away from 6 glorious minutes with 6 inches feeling equally as content, as satisfied as you would with 4 hours and 10 inches, because it's not about orgasm and it's because it was really connected and loving and intimate and beautiful and good, that you actually walk away and consider it to be good.
You want that for me?
I want you to have connection and love
Okay,
and good
I-
sex, and good sex
Yes.
is not just about orgasm. It's not. Don't roll your eyes at me.
I think we'll see. I think that if I can connect with somebody on an emotional level, because I feel like at this point in my life, I have gotten to where I feel I can trust myself to become vulnerable. And if I can trust myself to become vulnerable, then that would allow me the opportunity to actually fall in love. Okay. And then
Then you can explore sex differently.
as a way to emotionally connect with somebody.
Yeah.
Which doesn't, I mean, honestly, it's never going to change that I orgasm. That's just how
That's
I am.
fine.
And it's never going to change that I have really good penis karma because that's just who I am.
Sure.
So I am going to have probably really great orgasmic sex and feel emotionally connected on a level I never have because of the work that I have done. And I am open to it, even though it does create a slight level of anxiety for me because it's something I don't know. And as human beings, we do tend to fear the unknown.
But
But,
everything is unknown.
right. But I feel now that I have more trust in the universe and its care of me than I ever have in my life.
Good.
And so I'm ready to give the universe the wheel.
Okay. Well, you all heard that. Hand it over. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming on and talking so
Oh
openly.
my God, thank you for having me.
Yeah, of
Thank you so much.
course.
I really hope that this session, this
God.
podcast episode has helped other people because I can't be the only person dealing with this
No,
shit.
you're not.
Because I've been dealing with it for like freaking decades. So hopefully it helps other people to, you know, be not afraid.
Yeah.
Because I feel less afraid now, to be honest with you.
Good.
I do. I feel like the anxiety was at my Adam's apple and now it's sort of at my nipple level.
Oh, good.
So it's gone down.
Okay.
I would say that's pretty considerable. It's
It
still in my
is.
stomach.
Well, I think it's going to be for a while, but that's
Yeah.
where the work lies is, that you're seeing how much power it has
Yeah.
for you.
You're right. I think that the anxiety might have been just me building it up myself because I'm so used to that security blanket.
Yeah.
And realizing, hey, I've done a lot of work and Rhonda, you don't need to, like, I don't have to worry about paying
Well,
my
I think
rent.
your
I don't have to worry about
security
things with
blanket,
that. So I don't have to worry about
right.
love either now because that's.
But the security blanket needs to evolve. For a while, your security blanket was money, and now your security blanket needs to evolve into being your own trust in yourself.
Yeah, I agree. Because that, if I do that, then I'm totally okay. If I put my security in my trust in myself, because I do trust myself.
And trust yourself to keep yourself safe and communicate
That's
in relationships
that's
and
the thing I
around
need to work on.
vulnerability.
I need to work on communicating because I don't know how to do that. That's the part I don't. Because I've never actually had relationships where I do communicate or
Yeah.
even needed to, really. And so that
Well,
will
that's
be
a whole other episode.
Okay, well, when you hit that subject, I'll
I
be your
will.
guinea pig again if you want.
Okay, sounds good. I'd love to have you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for listening. I do hope that this was helpful to you. I know this was a little lengthy, so if you're still hanging in with us, thank you for listening. If you have any feedback, comments, questions, feel free to hit me up all over the internet, wherever I have links and messaging and whatever else. And check out Rhonda on her podcast at Help Me Rhonda. That's Ronda, no H. And that is everywhere as well.
Yes, and you can follow me on Instagram at Help Me Rhonda Official, and it's just Ronda. Help Me Rhonda Official, and that way you can keep in touch with any projects I'm working on, that sort of thing.
And if you're getting married and you need some dress alterations, well, not alterations, actually custom couture tailoring,
Yeah.
she is your woman. So again, thank you all and tune in next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.